Hi everyone, Ms. Stillman here. This is the homework 2 key for the Unit 10 on circles. So question 1, it says, in the accompanying diagram of circle O, the measure of angle AOC is 108. So we should trace that. AOC is 108. And they ask us, what's the measure of angle ABC? We should also take a look at that. Now that's two different angles. The 108 is a central angle, and then the ABC is an inscribed angle. It's important to know that if it's a central angle, that's the same arc. So the 108 is the measure of arc AC, right there. And then that should help us get the inscribed angle. Take that arc, go back into that angle, do the 108 divided by 2, because you take the arc and divide it by 2 to get the inscribed angle. That's 54, answer choice 2. Next question. In a circle, chords TU and RS intersect at point V inside the circle. The measure of arc TS is 45 degrees and the measure of arc RU is 160 degrees. What is the measure of angle RVU? Well, there's no circle right now. We can draw one. The chords intersect, so that's like making an X. One of them should be called TU and the other one should be called RS. Now it doesn't matter if I put the T or the U on top, same with the R and the S, but the line segments have to have the proper names. Now we're going to label the arcs. TS is 45, RU is 160, TS 45, okay, RU 160. It's okay if it's not drawn to scale. Now in this diagram, when arcs intersect, that's when you find the angle by doing arc plus arc divided by 2. I like to write the formula to remind me how to find whatever's missing. Okay, and the angle is called RVU, or you could just say the word angle there, but the arcs are 45 and 160. Add them, divide by 2. Make sure to add the numerator first. 45 plus 160 is 205. Then divide that by 2, you get 102.5. In the next question, the diagram is drawn for us. The angle AEC is 45 degrees, and arc AC is given to us as 65. Now that angle is not inscribed and it's not central. That's the diagram that we are going to use. That angle equals arc plus arc divided by 2. The two arcs here are going to be very important. Those two arcs go together, get divided by 2, and equal to 45. And it turns out, yes, that is exactly the arc we're looking for, DB. So I'm going to write angle equals arc plus arc divided by 2. Wrote my formula. Now let's plug it in. The angle itself is 45 degrees. The arcs are 65 plus x divided by 2. Well, we can cross multiply. Put it over 1, cross multiply. 45 times 2 is 90. 1 times the 65 plus x is still 65 plus x. Subtract 65 on both sides. You get 25 is your x value. And that's your answer. Now on page 2, the diagram is a little different. The angle is outside the circle. These are two secants that meet outside the circle. Notice how I've labeled the arc 85 and the arc 17, and I'm looking for angle P. Well, that situation is getting the angle P by doing large arc minus small arc divided by 2. Take a look at that math. 85 minus 17 divided by 2. Do the subtraction first, get 68 over 2, and then divide by 2 and get 34. That's the measure of angle P. On the next question, again, you have the angle outside. That's when you do subtraction. So we take the two angles, the two arcs and subtract them equal to the angle. And notice the divide by 2. So measure of angle P is large arc minus small arc divided by 2. Notice the larger arc is the 115 and the smaller arc is unknown. Look at that. That's what we're looking for. HJ. The angle is 27, equal to 115 minus x divided by 2. Put it over 1 so you can cross multiply. Notice over here, when you cross multiply, you get 54 equals 115 minus x. That minus x is going to be okay, but be very careful with how you show your work. Notice when I subtract 115 on both sides, I get a negative 61. So be very careful with your calculations. That negative x comes down. And to get rid of a negative, you need to understand that that's a coefficient of negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1, you get 61 is your x value. On the last question, it's two tangents that meet outside the circle. In the diagram below, we're only given the minor arc LM is 75 degrees, and what's the angle of P? Well, just knowing the minor arc is 75, we could figure out the major arc. But you know what? We gave you a hint anyway. Hint, what is the measure of the major arc LM? You need to have both arcs in order to do the problem. Well, full circle is 360 degrees, so 360 minus the 75 we're given is the 285 that we didn't know before, but we could figure it out. Now we can use the 285 and the 75 to plug into the formula. The measure of angle P is the major arc minus the minor arc, still like the idea of large minus small, and then divide by 2. 285 minus 75 divided by 2. Do the numerator first, you get 210. 210 divided by 2 is 105, so the angle is 105 degrees.